It is indeed the 16th day of March 2023. Good afternoon and welcome. This is KBC Lunchtime News on a day that the country awoke to showers of blessings, which is quite a relief after the long drought. My name is Njue. Anwangeshi is my colleague who will be handling the sign language interpreter for this live newscast. Of course, we do welcome your feedback, your suggestions, your comments, or even where you are watching us from, because we are live. Now straight to the news. Leaders and human rights organizations in Garissa County have asked the government to decentralize civil registration for easy registrations of persons. They have at the same time appealed for a grace period of about 6 months for the recently introduced process of digitization of birth and death registration, citing several challenges in the region. Baraki Ward Representative Hassan Gelei says the directive by Interior Cabinet Secretary that those living in border counties should obtain their national identity documents within 21 days has not been adhered to because of bureaucracy, vetting, and serious scrutiny of applicants.
Na kila siku tuko na taabu ya hiyo kitu. Na siku hizi mnajua siku hizi kwenda safari ama mtu akiwa mgonjwa hatuwezi kupeleka hospitali kama yeye hana date of birth.
We've issued 533 birth certificates in partnership with the registration office since our target of 350, and a large number was still left out because they still need these services. We understand that the registration office in the whole of Garissa County, there are 3, but we would like to request the government to ensure that each sub-county in Garissa County has a registration center.
We are going to do the same for IDs and ensure that persons applying for national IDs get their IDs processed, applications processed as fast as possible.
We have majority of 50% of the students in the primary school don't have this registration and they are not captured in the NEMIS system. But from today, I think the headmaster was really happy that he will receive the capitation once all the children capitation for free primary education from the Ministry of Education, once every child has birth certificate.
Now, living in a clean environment and accessing constant supply of fresh water in the home seems so basic that can easily be taken for granted. These basics, however, are rare commodities for residents of Mukuru kwa Njenga slum in Nairobi, who, besides struggling to put food on the table, have to grapple with infections owing to exposure to unsafe water and unhygienic conditions. Our reporter Picho Chemtai visited the area and filed the following report.
Njenga, one of the largest and densely populated slums in Kenya. From afar, everything looks normal until you move close, and then the harsh reality dawns. In here, an open sewer line flowing right at your doorstep has been normalized. Mounds of garbage litter literally every open space. Snacking its way in the informal settlement is a river whose polluted nature does not deter women from doing laundry and fetching its water for other domestic uses because clean water is hard to come by here. So how do the residents cope with this situation? Nekesa, a mother of 4, has lived here for close to 10 years.
Kijiji ni chafu, watoto wanahara, wakienda shule, mtu anakuja kama anahara. Unampeleka usi, unapata dawa, tena kisha anaanza tena mwingine, anaanza kuhara.
She laments that the situation has worsened over the years.
Na hii maji yetu kama imepita kwa sewage. Ni pipe mingi zimepita kwa sewage chini. Sasa ni kama hiyo maji haiki dawa. Wanaleta kama wamekea watu direct.
She faults the government for not paying attention to their plight, but is hopeful that something can be done.
Serikali tusaidie juu. Tunaumia, watoto wanateseka, wanahara. Ama utapata mtoto amekufa juu ya ugonjwa, yani kipindupindu.
At a nearby health facility that Nekesa frequents, a community clinical officer gives grim health indicators.
We have upper respiratory tract infection, we have diarrhea, we have urinary tract infection, na pia tuko na skin infection.
She tells us what the predisposing factors are.
Hygiene is poor in the community because there is poor drainage in the community, and most of them to get the safe water is a challenge.
A medical emergency they encountered some time back caused panic as they frantically sought help elsewhere.
And we were locating the place of residence, and we get like in a certain area there were many people coming for malaria which were positive and they had not traveled.
The breeding will be, for those that caught malaria, will be more where you have bodies of water, because you need also humidity.
Community volunteer workers also have a rough time.
Mahali maji ya kukunywa inapitia ndio hiyo drainage inapitia, so hao kuhara it is 100% na kutapika.
They say the buck stops with the government.
The Ministry of Health could have maybe come in. They take an opportunity to come to the ground.
Watengeneze hizo mambo na drainage zikienda, sio ya maji ya kusimama.
The Nairobi County government has taken some steps, but more needs to be done.
So we are trying to complement to have portable sewer lines, sewer discharge. We are trying to ensure that we have at least better water systems into the slums.
Environmentalists and health experts warn of a looming crisis if measures are not taken to address the situation.
The vegetables that you actually consume might be coming from this particular area.
Unborn babies are thrown into the river. Dead carcasses of animals are thrown into the river.
If it continues spreading towards the big cities in Africa, then it could start transmitting malaria in this.
This polluted river has contributed immensely to the health risks that residents living in informal settlements are going through, simply because it is the same source of water that they are using for domestic purposes. The Kenyan Constitution 2010, Chapter 4, Articles 42, 69 and 70 on the Environment Act clearly state that every Kenyan has a right to a clean and healthy environment and to have obligations relating to the environment fulfilled. Furthermore, Article 70 stipulates that if the right is denied, one may apply to a court for redress. Opicho Chemtai for Climate Centric.
Indeed, something needs to give, and the residents should be accessing clean water as it is enshrined in the Constitution. And to another story still on touching on matters climate change and the environment. And for that, we cross over to Lokichar in Lodwar County, where our reporter Judith Akolo is there, and elders have gathered to pray for rain. Some parts of the country have already started receiving rains, and 5 field seasons, loss of property, loss of livestock. For that, let's get more from Akolo. Judith, if you can hear me, good afternoon. Is our reporter Judith Akolo, who has gone to Lokichar, and as you can see, leaders have started gathering. Yes, Judith?
And the event, as you can see, there are quite a number of goats that have been slaughtered already. It's an event where the elders are forecasting the long rain season. And with me, I'm with an elder. He's Ngoje.
We seem to be having some technical issues getting that live feed from Lokichar, but as soon as we get that, we'll be getting a more incisive report on that. But moving on, governors from the 14 counties in the Lake Region Economic Bloc have called on the government to revive the sugar sector in a move to rebuild the region's financial muscle. Speaking during the 11th summit of the bloc in Migori County, Kisumu County Governor and Chair of the bloc, Professor Njue, said the sector can be revived by implementing a report that was compiled during the previous regime that, among others, proposed formulation of policies that spur the sector's growth. The report also proposes value addition of sugarcane by millers.
The sugar sector has over time been on a gradual fall, diminishing returns for farmers. Leaders from the Lake Victoria region now say it's about time to adopt strategic measures and revive the industry.
The sugar sector is a strategic sector. We should do as best we can, just like other nations. When you have a strategic sector, you protect it using fiscal policy, you protect it by negotiating other trade agreements that ensure we are not invaded.
Kisumu Governor Professor Njue, who is also the chair of the bloc representing 14 counties in the Lake region, is calling for implementation of a sugar report done by the previous government that cited solutions to the ills eating up the sector.
That in as much as possible, since Kenya, as Anne said, had been a net exporter of sugar, we should go back to that position, because we are capable of producing enough sugar, even the 300,000 tons that we always have import, because we think it's a deficit.
Why so many importers? I mean, we're looking at 100,000 tons where we are 56, you are not 2 or 3. And the answer is in the unrealistic profit margins that the importers are making from selling imported sugar. But the sad part is that the local producers, the local millers cannot make a profit due to their high production levels.
Ironically, the privately owned factories are performing very well. I think we need to find out what the problem is. Cabras has just come. We have now a new factory in Nigeria by the same Cabras, where they are paying the farmers within 14 days of delivery of the cane. Banzoya, farmers have waited for as long as 3 years, 4 years to be paid.
Kenya is said to have been producing more than 66 tons of sugarcane per hectare in 2015, but productivity declined to 55 tons in 2018.
The global average of sugarcane per hectare is 63 tons. And this means that at one point in 2015, Kenya productivity at the farm level was above the global average. The question comes again, why? What happened?
Leaders are also proposing that the mills be leased to private farms. Kamche Menza for Lunchtime News.
Very well, from that report, let's revisit our earlier story from Lokichar in Turkana County, where Judith Akolo has been camping. And leaders have decided to pray for rain after 5 failed seasons. And now, Judith, if you can hear me, kindly bring us up to speed with the latest events from that side.
Good afternoon, Bentro and Njue. We are in Lokichar in Turkana South Sub-County, and this is one of the areas that has been very dry. It's a semi-arid county, as you know, and today the elders are here, drawn from the Turkana community, who are about to do a forecast using goats. And I'm here with one of the elders, Joseph Nakwei, who will tell us exactly what is happening at this particular point. Joseph, naomba kuuliza hivi, ni nini kinachoendelea hapa kwa siku ya leo?
Kile kitu inaendelea hapa leo ni kwamba wazee wanataka kuona kwa hii mvua itakuja ama hakuna. Wanataka kuona leo kwa sababu ikifika mahali wanakuja kukaa chini ya hii miti na kuangalia kwamba mvua inakuja ama hakuna. Na mvua wanasema imeanza tayari, walikuwa wameona juzi kwa mara nyingine ya mbuzi juzi wakiwa nayo. Saa hizi wameua hapa zingine, wanataka kuona kwamba mvua inaanza. na vile inaanza itakuwa mingi ama kidogo, ndio wanataka kuanza leo hapa. So kabla hawajaona hizo mara ya mbuzi, huo wanacheza, alafu hiyo ni maombi yao kwa Mungu. Alafu sasa ndio wataangalia hizo mbuzi, alafu ndio waone mvua inakuja namna gani.
Je, wakifanya hivi na mvua bado tena ikosekane, kutakuwa na mtafanya nyingine ama ni vipi huwa mnafanya kujua kwamba mvua huenda ikaja ama itakosa?
Wanakuanga na ukweli kwamba wakisema kama ile mbuzi walikuwa wameua juzi wenyewe, waliona mvua iko. Sasa ndio wanataka confirm kwa hii kama ni mingi ama ni kidogo, wamejua tayari iko.
Sherehe kama hii huwa mnafanya mara ngapi kwa mwaka ama ni vipi huwa mnafanya?
Sherehe kama hii tunafanya mara 3 kwa mwaka, quarterly. Mara 3. Ya kwanza tunaangalia kwamba iko ama hakuna mvua. Na ama hii mambo ya adui Pokot na Turkana iko namna gani? Wanakuja ama hakuna? Ama wao hapa wanaenda ama hakuna? Huo tunaangalia hivyo. Sasa ndio hii ni ya pili. Ya kwanza ilikuwa mwezi wa kwanza. Ya pili sasa ndio hii mwezi wa 3.
Nashukuru sana, nimeongea na wewe Bwana Joseph Nakwei. Naomba sasa kuongea na director wa meteorology county ya Turkana. Tafadhali songa. Now, with me is the director of the Turkana County Government, director of meteorology. We would like him to now tell us about the conventional way of forecasting and what we expect of this county in the coming season. Now, director,
yes.
Kindly tell us what was the findings of the long range forecast and how does it work? How does it work with the current event that is happening in this particular place?
Okay, thank you. My name is Francis Muinda. I'm the County Director, Meteorology, Turkana County. Today we are witnessing the release of the county seasonal forecast here in Turkana County. And before we release that, we have to use both the conventional forecast and the local forecast. As you can see around me here, you can see these old wazees, the local forecast. We normally call them in Turkana language, the Emrons. So they look at the either signs, then they see what is the future looks like. Right now, they have slaughtered, that is 4 shots. We have 1 goat and then 3 sheep that they are going to look at their either strains, and then they do analyze, and then they give us their forecast. Then after that, we will go back to...
Just a minute, Director. Does it always work together with the conventional forecast, or there is usually a deviation? How do you actually work together with this?
The forecast that they always do release always concurs with the conventional forecast. All the time we have been doing this kind of the event through the support of our stakeholders. So it always concur, and also I do assume this time around it is just going to be just the same, because already we are on the onset of the long rain season. You remember what I shared with you, the 7-day weather forecast that was showing that Turkana County is expected to get some rains in this week. This is what happened, and we are still waiting for more. So the confirmed forecast, we normally look at the historical data. That is the historical data. Then we do use that kind of that data so that we can come up with the forecast.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank
you so much, Mr. Director. Ben Troy Njue, we've just had Joseph Nakwei, who was the elder, and Francis Muinda, who is the County Director of Meteorology. And you notice that we are now working together with the elders and the conventional way of looking at forecasts to come up with a forecast for the county. I'm Judith Akolo in Lokichar, Turkana County.
Thank you so much for that report, Judith Akolo in Lokichar, Turkana County there, where it's an interesting blend of elders praying for rain together with the meteorological department there, trying to see whether the long rains are indeed going to be long. Have a comprehensive report in our subsequent bulletin. Elsewhere, a court in Kakamega County has granted a 1.25 million compensation to each of the 15 families whose children perished in the Kakamega Primary School stampede in 2020. Judge Linus Kasan, in handing the ruling, said the parents provided evidence that the management of the school had failed to ensure the safety of the pupils as required.
15 students were killed in a stampede on the evening of February 3rd, 2020, as they went down a flight of stairs. The parents expressed satisfaction with the court's decision to award them reparations, though they opined that no amount of money can bring back their children.
Mimi nakubaliana na huo uamuzi wa mahakama na nashukuru sana kuona kwamba mahakama zetu zinaweza fanya haki.
Tunashukuru tu, ingawa hakuna kiwango cha pesa ambacho tutawezarudisha mtoto wetu ama tutaweza poesha mioyo yetu, lakini tunashukuru Mungu kwa mahakama yetu ya Kakamega imeweza kupitisha kiwango ambayo watatupea. Tunashukuru.
Hakuna pesa hata ukipewa milioni 100 saizi, it isn't equivalent na maisha ya mtoto. But hiyo imekuwa kuonyesha shule walikuwa, it was negligence from the school. At least wameonyesha, na it is I think ni caution for the future. Next time watakuwa na uangalifu.
During the case proceedings, witnesses who testified in court said the stampede was triggered by a teacher who came out of a classroom and shouted at the children as they left their classrooms. The witnesses told the court that learners started running, triggering the stampede and leading to the fatalities. The magistrate said the school management bears the greatest responsibility of ensuring that children are safe and free from harm.
The school management, who are responsible for the welfare of minors, bears the greater responsibility of ensuring that the children are safe and free from harm. They ought to have foreseen any danger that might have arisen in case of such unexpected events.
Beatrice Gatonyangetich, Lunchtime News.
Now to the coastal county of Kilifi, where more than 1,000 residents of Kajajini village within Malindi constituency have turned to fundraise to end perennial water shortage in the area. The locals say they have given up on the local administration to connect them to clean and safe drinking water.
Since independence, the villages have never been connected to pipe water or electricity, forcing them to stay in darkness and drink salty water from boreholes. The locals say they got tired of the obtaining situation and rallied to connect them to water.
Changamoto ambazo tunakumbana nazo ni hali ya mawe mengi sana katika maeneo yetu. Tulikuwa tunaomba pengine tungesaidika tupate hizo machines.
They approached the ward representative and the area member of parliament, who then contributed to their water development kitty.
Jamani, maji ni jambo la muhimu. Maji ni uhai wetu sisi. Na mimi namshukuru kiongozi wenu Oscar Wanje, kwa sababu hata katika ile miradi yenye ambao mimi ninahusika katika bunge la kitaifa.
Though they are now connected to water, the locals say they still need electricity.
Ete umeme Kajajini ngare, kama Amina alivyosema, Kajajini safi, Kajajini.
Nasra Aden for Lunchtime News.
Very well, at about 23 minutes past the top of the hour, we are taking a quick breather, but when we come back, we still have more local news. We have business and also sports, but allow me to appreciate Ben Jamtai, who say you're tuned in from Sotik, and of course we will be sampling others when we come back. Let's have that quick break.
Welcome to Casablanca.
Morocco is a very touristic country. I think it is in our blood to the hosting. We are very well known for hospitality.
Football remains the most popular sport. Just what is behind Morocco's success in football?
We have the homologation of CAF and FIFA, both of them.
This week on Channel 1.
wasewa sahihi tunakuanga wa deadly.
Watu ni polisi kama sisi. Chini.
Katana na this. Hit the market. Nataka mjifanye nyinyi watalii doing some shopping.
Baby, can you take a picture of me?
Nice. Ibra, go undercover. Tafuta place utafit in.
Baba, nitakujazia hilo nzima.
Quarantine Kibet. Weakness analysis.
Madam, uko sawa?
Itakuwa sawa.
Uko serious? Mbona umesimama? Engage! Bwana kabisa! Return to base. I repeat, return to base.
To get Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5 as your skiza tune, dial *811 *967 #.
Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not in your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to him, and he will make your path straight. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 to 6.
To get Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5, dial *811 *967 #. *811 *967 #.
Welcome back and thanks for keeping it KBC. In other news, the Kenya Ports Authority has donated food worth 1.5 million shillings to hunger-stricken families in Kinango sub-county in Kwale County. The food donations were presented to the most vulnerable families in Ndavaya and Utsangani in Kinango.
The donation was presented by the KPA Board Chairman Benjamin Tayari to 1,000 most vulnerable families in the area. The KPA Chairman regretted the severe drought situation, which led to widespread livelihood losses and massive displacement of population, stating that the situation in most parts of Kwale still remain fragile due to poor rainfall. The chairman was accompanied by KPA staff led by Corporate Communications Manager Bernard Osero, who is also the Corporate Social Investment Committee, said similar food distribution exercises were being done in Tana River and Taita Taveta counties. The Kinango Assistant County Commissioner Abdullahi Galgalo, together with Ndavaya Ward MCA Ali Beja, thanked KPA and appealed for further support to enable people to get water boreholes.
Na vile vile leo tunashukuru tumeweza kushirikiana kwa karibu na shirika ambalo pia ni la kiserikali la KPA, halmashauri ya KPA. Tumepokea hizi bandali za unga na ambazo zitasaidia watu zaidi ya 350.
Inapo pia kama KPA wana uwezo zaidi, swala la maji ni swala nyeti zaidi hili. Tunaomba KPA kama pia wanaweza kutuangalia jinsi gani wanaweza kusaidia kama swala ya maji. Na tunafurahia sana kama jamii.
Sabrina Luyali, Lunchtime News.
And to wedding bells now, where 50 couples gathered at the Tononoka Social Hall in Mombasa to join in holy matrimony in a mass wedding organized by the Mombasa-based non-governmental organization. And according to the NGO, the mass wedding was conducted in a bid to curb sex before marriage among members of the Islamic community and enable them to live according to Islamic teachings ahead of the holy month of Ramadan.
Step by step, the brides make their way into the Tononoka Social Hall as the grooms sit quietly watching them, as is the norm in Islamic ceremony. Today, the couples will embark on a new journey, one that is united by common bonds, love and religion. But why did they choose a mass wedding?
Kwa sababu hii ni njia pekee ya kuweza kuifanya hii issue iliyoingia ya kutaka watu wa jinsia moja kuoana ama kuwa pamoja. Hii ndio njia moja muhimu ambayo itaweza kusaidia hawa watu wa jinsia moja kuwa mbali ama kutoweza kupata hii nafasi.
Lubna Nasir, whose organization made this ceremony possible, says the marriages will go a long way in strengthening families, especially during the holy month of Ramadan.
Ni wakati wa waumini kujiandaa kiroho, kujiandaa kiakili na kujiandaa kimazingira, kuona kwamba mwezi mtukufu wa Ramadhani unaoingia wiki inayofuata, basi pia familia zetu ziko imara, familia zetu zina utangamano mzuri, familia zetu zina muingiliano wa kiroho ambayo Mwenyezi Mungu anaridhika, Mwenyezi Mungu anatumiminia baraka, Mwenyezi Mungu anaendelea kutupatia riziki zetu za wasaa kwa njia inayotupendezea sisi waja wake zaidi.
The elated couple says they will forever be grateful for the opportunity to formalize their marriages.
Sasa nashukuru Mwenyezi Mungu nimehalalishwa, naanza maisha mapya sasa sababu nimehalalishwa.
Siku ya leo nimefurahia sababu zile gharama zote ambazo zilizuia kule nyuma leo imerahisishwa. Kwa hivyo nafurahi kwa hilo.
The mass wedding was also used as a platform to condemn the LGBTQ agenda in the country. For Lunchtime News, I'm Abdulaziz Abeid.
All the best to the newlyweds. Now, as the world marked International Women's Day 2023 on the 8th of March, Kenyan women in the film industry took stock of their journey. What are the key achievements? Is the country film industry predominantly female or male? Starting today on cinemas and theatre, and for the next 3 segments, we bring you the story of these remarkable women. Wangeshi Murage, a media practitioner with 23 years of experience in content production and distribution, is our focus today.
My name is Wangeshi Murage. I am a media consultant. I started off as an actress. So I would do stage plays at Phoenix Theatre, and then I got an opportunity to join the Nation Media Group as a trainee presenter on radio, and then became a producer on television, and that's where I think I started cultivating my passion. So I've been in the industry for 23 years, this year being the 24th, handling or working under different capacities. Like I said, I started as an actress, I moved on to producing, I went to directing, and then I became a manager, supervising content and all that. So I have worked with people from various industries in different capacities who basically put a production together or promote a production and or market it. When I joined the industry, if I take it from a woman's perspective, because we are celebrating Women's Day, yay! We were very few women in the industry, and also in terms of the roles, there were like specific roles designated to women. But now, 20 plus years later, some roles have opened up. It was rare to find a woman doing in grips, hauling equipment and stuff like that. It was rare to also see women directors, but we had a lot of women producers. It was rare to see, mostly on the technical side, even sound, that was like mostly delegated to men, but a lot of women have now stepped into that space. So that is so good. The journey is still continuing. I haven't reached the destination, which I don't think I actually will, because in media things keep changing. It's so dynamic. It's very vibrant. So what we are doing today, in 2 years' time, will be completely different. Like AI right now, that's the biggest thing that people are looking at. Now I have to even learn what AI is and what it does, so that I can then be able to help and assist the other stakeholders in whatever needs it is that they have. So that has been my journey, and it continues to be my journey. For me, let me use myself as an experience, was being given an opportunity to prove myself. I had to fight really hard. My brother over here would get an opportunity very quickly. But I had to really prove myself, and I had to maneuver and see how to get work done so that people can see that I am also capable. It's become a little bit easier right now, but still that challenge is there. Setting up organizations, companies, creating jobs as well does also not come easily. But again, I don't want to say it's because we're women, we are being undermined. You also have to work for it. You have to work for it and prove yourself, and you have to learn the ropes. Nobody's going to hand you anything on a silver platter. So you also have to work so that you can compete effectively. And then, of course, as a woman, we are the caretakers of the family. The man is a breadwinner. So if you're running your own organization or your company, you have to really learn how to split your time. I would like to see more women in our industry taking over some roles, like directing, cinematography, editing, more of the technical stuff, because we have very few women who are doing that. We have more women handling other things like continuity and scripts and stuff like that, which are all important roles. They're very key roles. This is not to demean any, but I would like to see more women spread across the different capacities that we have in the industry. We need to celebrate ourselves. It has to start with us. We have to appreciate ourselves so that other people can appreciate us. And also to encourage every woman and to let them know that they have a purpose. They need to know how to or rather, work with their passion, and their feeling. Don't do something that you feel you're being forced into, or maybe it's because it's maybe your plan C or plan B. No, go for your plan A and stick with it. Learning is it's something that we do every day. Don't stop, don't quit. You can still pursue other dreams, but don't let go of whatever it is that you really want to do, because that is what gives you fulfillment. And I'm speaking this for myself, because today I feel totally fulfilled as a woman. I have learned a lot. I have had challenges. I am still questioning. I am still learning, but I walk every day with a smile on my face because what I am doing is so fulfilling. So every woman out there, go do it.
Elsewhere, the Northern Nomadic Disabled Persons Organization is calling for access to quality education and affordable health for people with disabilities among 12 nomadic counties in the country. They decried the marginalization of arid and semi-arid regions that are also afflicted by conflicts over resources that have left many dead and others maimed.
We advocate for access to education for children with disabilities. We advocate for access to quality, affordable healthcare services for persons with disabilities, enhanced self-reliance for persons with disabilities, and we advocate for increased representation of persons with disabilities in all government and leadership positions.
It is indeed a pleasure when we see DPOs who are key partners in ensuring implementation of the National Council's mandate of equity for persons with disability, when we see our partners having a clear plan that also aligns with what we stand for and what we champion for as a council. It is indeed an honor.
Communities disability have a unique needs because of the nature of the nomadic background and the livelihood, which is based on nomadism. That's people shifting from place to place with the animals.
Let's switch gears now to business. KCB Group, public listed company, saw its full year net profit increasing from 34.2 billion shillings to 40.8 billion shillings in net profit. The profit was driven by a 19.6% growth in revenue to 129.9 billion shillings. The lender says its total assets rose 36.4% to 1.55 trillion shillings due to investments in government securities, customer deposits and additional borrowings. KCB Group has recommended a final dividend of 1 shillings per share, in addition to 1 shillings per share to be paid out as interim dividend.
We expect that this new purpose, backed by a set of values of being connected, courageous, and closer, will propel our business forward. Notwithstanding the difficult times and economic disruptions, KCB has delivered a credible set of results, giving us the confidence that our group strategy, which has been in effect for the last 3 years, has not only delivered great results, but established a firm foundation from which we can weather emerging challenges across the region.
That is why we need to fast track into a digital bank, because that is what is going to be the future. I think people ask, but KCB and M-Pesa, you're coming down. I think it's a balance of portfolio and making sure that you have an opportunity for every person as they come in. You're pushing Mobilon, you're pushing Fuliza, one of them is likely to be impacted. Total value of mobile loans, 193.1 billion.
Part of this 1.5 trillion comes out of that, from 302, an individual who borrows 302, to an entity that borrows 25 billion. So we cut across. We unlock those opportunities for the smallest to the biggest, and that is what KCB is about.
Across borders, Mozambique's annual rate of inflation reached 10.3% in February, according to the figures compiled by the National Statistics Institute, drawing on the consumer price indices from all the main urban areas. Inflation in February alone was 0.97%, and it was the first 2 months of the year it was 1.96%. Here are the details of this and other news making headlines from across Africa.
The products that contributed most to the February inflation rate in Mozambique were cabbage up by 16.5% and processed maize 9.1%, tomatoes 11.7% and lettuce 10%. The average prices for some key products fell over the month, like butane cooking gas by 3.4%, coconuts by 2.6%, live chickens 2.4%, and shelled rice 1.2%, vegetable oil 0.8%, and dried fish 0.5%. Of all the cities covered by the National Statistics Institute, Inhambane had the highest inflation of 13.61%, followed by Kwalamein 12.76% and Chimoyo 10.9%. The lowest rates were Maputo 8% and Beira 9.86%. Elsewhere, agricultural experts and other stakeholders in Nigeria have resuscitated the set target of wheat optimization due to the poor wheat production in the country. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, Nigeria spent 898.2 billion naira on wheat importation to meet its 90% consumption demand yearly. Federal government's intervention through the Central Bank of Nigeria injection of 40 billion naira into wheat production accounted for an upward increase of 500,000 metric tons of local production in the year 2022 from 60,000 metric tons in 2020. And finally, net profits of banks operating in the Egyptian market increased to about 130 billion Egyptian pounds at the end of December 2022, compared to 93 billion Egyptian pounds at the end of September 2022. According to the Central Bank of Egypt, net revenues amounted to about 331 billion Egyptian pounds at the end of December, compared to 225 Egyptian pounds at the end of September. According to the Central Bank, the return on average assets of the largest 5 banks was 1.3%, and the return on average equity was 21%, while the net margin of return reached 4.3%.
Let's get the latest from the world of sports. Liverpool's Champions League hopes ended at the hands of Real Madrid for a third consecutive season, losing 1-0 at the Santiago Bernabeu.